You're listening to the Copywriter On Call podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Gillis, copywriter, word magic maker, and owner of What Sarah Said. On this podcast, you'll feel empowered to show up online in a way that has you saying, "That's so me." Let's get started. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Copywriter On Call podcast. I am your host, Sarah Gillis, and I am logging some on-call hours solo today to chat with you about how to know if your website copy is boring. I wanted to start out today with a little story. So one of my very first clients in business had a website that was totally boring. When I asked her why her website didn't showcase her personality or her more than a decade of experience in her industry, or even her unique approach to serving her clients, all of these things that she shared about on social media but didn't show up on her website, she said, well, it's good enough, isn't it? I mean, I've gotten clients for more than a decade. And so it's functioning, but is it as good as it can be? So as I've worked with more and more service providers over the years, I've come to realize that this whole thought process, the whole, if it's not broke, why fix it, right? That attitude is quite common, and it's not unique to any industry. It's not unique to any type of business. It's a common belief. And so the thing that I tried to share with her and that I want to share with you today is that a website that is good enough is not what we should be striving for as business owners. So a website that is good enough might not be visually appealing, right? There's the visual side of it. But it might also not be, creating that word magic that we all want, right? And so when your website is, quote, good enough, you probably are relying on some sort of generic run-of-the-mill design or copy. Now, since copy is my specialty, we're going to talk about that today. But I just want to emphasize here, we are not trying in our businesses to be like the Walmarts or the Amazons of the world, right? We are not for everyone. Bar none, full stop. We are not for everyone. And to that point, if our website works for everyone or speaks to everyone, it truly speaks to no one. Okay. The beauty is in speaking directly to that ideal client, that aligned soul sister client that you want to bring into your business and serve either through your products or your services. And so when you have copy that is, sure, professional, but maybe is generic and dull and doesn't inspire action, you have copy that doesn't necessarily work. Is it good enough? Maybe. But do you want to sit in that good enough space? Now, this client, she didn't want to sit in the good enough space. Okay. She wanted to grow her business in ways that she had never grown it before. She wanted to put together a team. She wanted to crawl up the rankings in her industry to be one of the most in-demand professionals in our area. And so when you want to grow your business in a way that will set you apart in your industry, you need a website and a marketing strategy to do that. So again, this client already had great results, right? She was generating great results for her happy clients. She had more than a decade worth of happy clients who were sharing reviews on the regular. And while all of that was speaking really beautifully about what she does, her website didn't communicate that. Instead, it looked like everyone else's. And so, is there anything inherently wrong with that? Not necessarily, but what I discovered with this client after chatting about it over a matter of weeks is that she was playing it safe in business. And there's nothing wrong, again, inherently wrong with playing it safe. But my client's business wasn't growing the way that she wanted it to. And that's when playing it safe becomes a problem. That's when good enough or professional isn't good enough. Okay. So if you want to attract different clients than you are now, maybe you want to move into a new niche or you want to level up in terms of the quality of clients, right? People who want to spend more, want a bigger transformation, maybe not small projects, but big ones or something like that. Or if you want to scale your business differently than other people in your industry. Maybe you want to try and find a way to stand out in a market that is feeling saturated. I'm going to die on the hill that your website copy is a big part of helping you do that. So, how do you know if your website is boring? I've got a fun new way for you to find out. I just launched a new quiz that will help you figure out if your website copy is dull and uninspiring. And it is a free quiz that you can take. And here's the really cool part. You will get one of 3 results based on your answers to the quiz. And each of those results has a tool that you can use to level up your copy. Based on where you're at, based on how safe or professional your copy feels, this tool, whatever tool you get based on your result, will help support you in making your website that much better. Now, I want you to understand that saying goodbye to dull or uninteresting or professional copy isn't me ragging on being professional, right? It's good to be professional. It's good to be taken seriously in your industry. That's not what I'm trying to say here. You can be professional and pack in the personality. You can be professional and be taken seriously for your job, your expertise, your experience, your work, and still showcase who you are and speak to who you want to serve. Okay? It's not an either or, it's a both and. So I want to tell you how this client story ended up here. So I want to close the loop here for you and finish this story about that client website that was a lot of bit boring. So once we got to the root of what was going on here, she wanted to be taken seriously. She wanted to appear professional and she thought everything was good enough. Once we worked together to level up the copy on her website, we also started blogging regularly. Okay, so those were the 2 big changes we made. Sure, we made some changes on social media. We kind of tried to create content in more of a series, building on itself. We just really focused on consistency across her website, across her blog, across her social media. The cool thing that happened is that her team grew by 2 team members just 1 year later. That's the kind of results that you can see when you actually show up authentically as who you are on your website, in your blog, on your social media, and when you define what consistent means for you. So I'm curious, what is possible for you if you stop playing it safe with your website copy and instead trade in some personality packed, SEO friendly good stuff on the website? This episode is brought to you by What Sarah Reads, a mobile book buying experience for creative and inspired women in the greater Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. As a lifelong storyteller, a student, and a teacher of literature, an obsessive reader, and a copywriter by trade, I believe that words matter, and that reading for pleasure should be more than opening a plain brown box sent to your doorstep or swiping away a purchase confirmation on your Kindle. To me, discovering your next book to read should be an experience and an adventure. What Sarah Reads is here to help you shamelessly add to your to-be-read pile. If you're not local to the Sioux Falls area, you can still support What Sarah Reads. Every single book sale means a lot to solopreneurs like me, so please consider shopping for your next read on bookshop.org. If you select my shop at checkout, 30% of your purchase goes to supporting my small business. Thanks so much for your support. Now, back to the episode. I hope that this client story and the results that she saw was really helpful to motivate you to think about your website copy differently. Again, all the visuals aside, if your copy isn't bringing people in, then your business won't be able to grow the way you want it to. You won't be able to achieve those big time goals, whether it's money or aligned clients or both. If you're ready to see what happens when you stop playing it safe on your website, I can't wait to support you in that process. This quiz is a great start. You can head to the show notes to find that link. But as always, I'm here to support you whenever you are ready. Thanks so much for listening. And today, Thanks so much for listening. And as always, this is your Copywriter on Call, signing off. Thanks for listening to the Copywriter on Call podcast. If this episode has you feeling all sorts of inspired to show up as yourself online, click that subscribe button so you don't miss my stories or practical advice to help you express your quirky, vulnerable, and authentic self online. Chat soon.